Hi, my name is Jeff Richard, and this is my wife Stacy, and we are the founders of Nate's Wish.
Jeff and I have had the opportunity to meet Jessica Pennebaker because her son Ross was diagnosed with leukemia last October and was a recipient of one of Nate's Wish backpacks. She's going to share how Nate's Wish was a ministry to Ross and their family.
When Ross was first diagnosed with leukemia, we were in the hospital. It was a very hard time for all of us. As parents, we were trying to absorb everything that we were learning and everything that Ross was going through, and having the challenge of seeing him have to go through procedures and just go through a lot. As Ross was there for a few days, we noticed that he was starting to go into a depression. And it was very hard to see that because I had never seen a child depressed, and here he was 7 years old and he was depressed. He had had some care packages that came through and some cards and things like that, but he just wasn't real interested in any of that anymore and just wanted to go home. Well, at one time, probably 3 or 4 days into our stay, one of the ladies at the hospital came in with a Nate's Wish backpack. And so we start to go through the backpack, and it was a very nice backpack, and we see it had a stuffed animal in it and a water bottle in it, a John Deere pillowcase, which was awesome because Ross loves country things, and we live on a farm. But there were two things in particular that really stand out in my mind. And the first was the book that was written by Nate. And it gives us a child's perspective on what it's like to go through leukemia, being in the hospital, and the things to expect. And Ross had gone through a lot and had many adults who were talking to him about leukemia and the different procedures, and he was just tired of talking to adults, or listening to adults probably. And then when we got this book, he was able to actually have someone he could relate to. When he starts to read the story and Nate tells what he had to go through and tells some of the things that he didn't enjoy, Ross said, "Yeah, I know." It was like he finally could understand and have someone that could relate to him and help him through this. And we would read through it, and he knew what he was going to go through and what to expect. Also in the backpack was an iPod. I didn't even know if the iPod would be anything that Ross would even understand, but even at 7 years of age, he was able to understand it real quick and found that it had a video camera and a camera on it. Well, he was really excited about this because he had always wanted to make his own video with his friends. And so he immediately goes around the hospital and starts to film the walls, the hand sanitizer, the nurses, the parking lot, anything he could see from his room. He had gone from sitting in his bed and the doctors asking him to get up and move around more to no one had to ask him to get up because he was excited that he had something he could do. And he started to actually walk the halls and to film the things that were in the halls just because he wanted to show his brother and sister where he had been and what everything looked like. We were so excited because we couldn't get him out of bed, and we didn't know, what to do because he was depressed. He went from just staring at the wall, being just depressed, to having a smile on his face and having something to be excited about.
What are you doing?
Quit videotaping me with my iPod.
Where are you?
In the hospital. I'm gonna videotape you.
No, let's videotape you.
No.
Why do you have an iPod? How did you get an iPod? Are you a teenager?
Yeah.
What?
I'm gonna video.
After that, things changed. He had something to kind of look forward to. He had his own little special thing that he had never had before, and it gave him something just to do besides stare. I mean, you get really bored in that hospital for a child that's gone through so much, and you don't want to look at TV all day, and it gave him something to do and get up and move around. Nate's Wish, I've seen not only be a blessing to our family, but to other families in the hospital. Many times I have been in the waiting room and I will see another child and they'll have their backpack. In particular, one little boy who was probably 2 or 3 years old, and he and his parents were in the waiting room, and they couldn't speak English, but yet they still had their Nate's Wish backpack because that speaks the language of love, which speaks every language, and they had felt that love, and you could tell that that was meaningful to them, that they had something to take with them. We've seen other children with their iPods when you're in the treatment centers and you're just sitting there for hours, and they're having something they can look at and something they can do to keep their minds off of just sitting there having their chemo treatments. And it's just it's a time to just something for joy in a time that's not so joyous. after that, I just knew that I wanted, whenever I had the opportunity to see the Richard family, was just to tell them thank you for what they're doing, because it does make a difference. It made a difference in our family. We went from having a depressed child to a child that had a smile on his face, and that's when we needed the most. And so we're very thankful for them and for anyone who donates to them and makes this possible.